Let's talk about faith. Faith is so hard. I know some of y'all out there may have like super faith and it never gets tired and it never gets weary and it never gets frustrated. But let me tell you, waiting on God is so hard. At least for me. At least for me. Early on in my walk with God, it wasn't as hard because it seemed like God answered my prayers immediately, or those things He promised me came to pass fairly quick. But the longer I stayed with Him, the longer I walked with Him, it seemed like the longer I had to wait. And it was hard. It was hard, but I realized that in the waiting, He was cultivating some amazing things on the inside of me. There are a few things I have been believing God for what I feel like is a long time. There's one thing that I've really been believing God for, and I know He's going to do it for 8 years. And there's one thing I've been believing God for, I would say, for almost 20 years. And it's difficult. It's difficult because sometimes when we first start believing God for something, we're excited and we're quoting scripture and we're telling everybody and we're just believing, and we're holding on to that promise. But after a while, we get tired. After a while, we start looking around and saying, okay, God, I see you doing it for everybody else, but what about me? After a while, we start to feel defeated. We start to feel defeated. I can speak for myself. I've been there and sometimes I'm still there, just believing God for the impossible. We know that faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. And we also know that without faith, it is impossible to please God. So faith is necessary, but faith isn't always easy. I A while ago, I got really down on myself. I was really hard on myself because I felt like I didn't have the faith that I had when I started walking with God. I was like, man, like, where did my faith go? I used to have so much faith when I was a baby saint before life started life in. Sometimes it seemed like I had more faith out the will of God than in the will of God. But then I had to realize the things that I'm believing God for now are great. They are massive. They are life changing to my family, for my family, healings and restorations and so many wonderful things. And so the faith that I had previously is not going to work for the level of things I'm believing God for. So my faith has to come up. He's increasing my faith. He's growing my faith. He's taking me from faith to faith. And I've had to check my faith. I don't know if you guys have ever felt like this, but there were times I got so tired of believing God. I got so tired of waiting. I'm like, you know what? I'm done. I don't even want to believe no more. I tried not to believe, but I could not believe because something on the inside of me made me believe. And I was like, how does this work? I'm trying not to believe, but something on the inside of me wouldn't let me not believe. I had to trust God. I have to trust God. His arm is not shortened. There is nothing too hard for Him. If He said it, He's going to do it. But let me pause right there. I want to say 2019 or 2020, God told me He said to me, trust yourself. And I knew exactly why He said that. I believe sometimes I struggle, and many times why I've struggled in the past with not necessarily having faith or believing, but believing for an extended period of time without questioning, is because I questioned whether God told me what I feel like He told me. Just discerning His voice. Because I know, the way my faith is set up, I know that if God said it, He's going to perform it no matter how long it takes. My problem has always been, is that what God said, or is that what I really want? So I remember He told me to trust myself. Not put my trust in me, but trust that I know His voice and that thing I felt, which He told me, was correct. And so over the last few years, some of the things I've been believing God for is not necessarily believing that God can't do it. Is, oh my gosh, did I hear God right? I want to make sure I'm not just putting God's name on it because this is the desire of my heart. And so that has been It has been a tremendous lesson. But he's teaching me to discern his voice, and I have to be confident in his voice for what he's called me to do. I have to know for certain that I know his voice. And so he's taken me through so many tests of faith, prolonged tests of faith, that I may master his voice. And sometimes it gets frustrating. Sometimes it gets hard because, God, I know what I felt like you told me. But is it not happening because I was wrong in what you told me? That wasn't you. That was what I really wanted. But I can honestly say I'm at a point now where I truly feel like everything that I'm believing God for is what he personally told me. And so I have to stick out the waiting process. We have to stick out the waiting process. Not just wait, but wait with joy. I challenge you to review yourself and see how you're waiting. Are you waiting with a bad attitude? Are you waiting like I have been waiting in the past, frustrated or angry or sad or full of sorrow? How are you waiting? It's so funny because I feel like God ministered to me through the birds. You guys know the birds up early. They on the power lines. They chirping. They doing what they do. But they're waiting. They're waiting with joy. They're waiting. They're singing. They're waiting because they know at an appointed time it's going to rain. And at a point in time, those worms going to come out. I'm terrified of worms. I run from birds, by the way. I hate worms. But they know that those worms are going to come out. They know they're coming out. So they sitting on the power lines chirping, waking us up early in the morning, waiting and waiting. Okay, it didn't rain today. They up there chirping, waiting. Okay, it didn't rain today. It rained. Now you swooping down, getting their worms. And so he showed me even the birds wait on him, but they don't wait on him with a bad attitude. They wait on him with joy. They are singing. I dare to say they praising, they worshiping. Let everything that have breath. And so how are we waiting? Okay, God, I'm in this waiting season. Not just how am I waiting? What are you doing on the inside of me as I wait? And I think that's a great question because it takes the focus off of what we're waiting for and the frustration or what we feel like is stagnation in the waiting, and it focuses on our attention on what God is doing on the inside of us. Because you best believe if God has you waiting, he's trying to produce some kind of fruit. He's trying to take some things out of you and he's trying to put some things into you. So what's your attitude while you're waiting? Have you identified the work that God is doing in you as you wait? Sometimes we're waiting because he wants to prepare us to receive that very thing that he has for us. Many times we're not ready to receive that thing which we prayed for or that thing which is promised. So anytime God has us wait, anytime it's a prolonged season of anything, anytime we feel like it's a delay, it's really for our good. It's really God preparing us and getting us ready for that thing. And so I had to change my mindset. And sometimes I have to change my mindset daily about waiting on the promises of God. Abraham and Sarah waited 25 years. Abraham and Sarah waited 25 years. Don't laugh. Sarah laughed. That laugh was doubt. Don't laugh. Don't doubt. But trust. Trust that if he said it, he's going to do it. His arm is not short and there is nothing too hard for him. Nothing too hard for him. We got to try hard not to waver at the promises of God through unbelief. So let's shift our focus off of how long it's taken and say, okay, God, help me to serve you and to wait for that thing with joy. Help me to identify those things on the inside of me that you're taking out and that you're taking in to prepare me for that thing that you promised me so that I don't squander it. Let's change our mindsets about how we're waiting. I'm talking to me. I'm talking to me. And it's not easy. It's not easy, but it's not impossible. His word says that with God, all things are possible. All things are possible. We can do all things through Christ who strengthens us. So I encourage you, if you're waiting, wait with joy. If you're waiting, identify the works, the beautiful work that God is doing in you to prepare you to receive. Don't be discouraged.